So let's look at homework 8 from section 3.3. It says I have a polynomial of degree 4 and I have coefficient, integer coefficient. The zeros I have was 1.1 minus 4i, 1, and 1 is a zero of multiplicity 2. So if the coefficient of x to the fourth is 1, then what exactly is the polynomial? So let's get started. First of all, if I have 1 minus 4i as a zero of my function, then I must have 1 plus 4i as a zero of my function. Also, 1 is a polynomial with multiplicity 2, which means x minus 1 is going to appear twice. So my problem is x minus 1 minus 4i times x minus 1 plus 4i, because those are the zeros. It did say my coefficient of the fourth order term is of 1. So my problem is usually you need to identify what's this coefficient, but this case it said it's 1. So it's x minus 1 squared, x minus 1 minus 4i, and x minus 1 plus 4i. The problem is it said, please give me only real integers as coefficients. Sorry, integers as coefficients. So they don't want you to carry I in the answer. Therefore, you want to multiply them together. And the whole reason we said we have conjugate numbers appear in pairs is because they can have a perfect cancellation. So you only leave real numbers, the i's is going to disappear. So what you can do is you can multiply this out, see what you got, and this I is going to disappear. You have x minus 1 plus 4i, which is your first term, times the second term, which is x minus 1 minus 4i. So if you look at it, there are simpler ways to work this out, but if you want to go with the most standard way, you multiply all the terms together to FOIL things out. So what you end up with is x squared minus 1 plus negative 1 times x, and then minus 4ix. And then keeps going, you have negative 1 times x, you have negative 1 times negative 1, you have negative 1 times negative 4i, and the last piece you have 4ix, you have 4ix times negative 1, and you have 4i times negative 4i, which is negative 16, and there's an I squared. So you end up with x squared. Those were two of those x. Those two terms are going to cancel out perfectly. Those two terms are going to cancel out perfectly. So you have a 1, you have that. So you have plus 1, you have minus 16, negative 1 squared. Sorry, I squared is negative 1. So you end up with x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 16, which is x squared minus 2x plus 17. So once you find this, you basically halfway through your answer, you figured out how I can rewrite this. You can say I'm going to rewrite it as x squared minus 2x plus 17. So now if you look at your problem one more time, what you end up with is f of x equivalent to this times that, where there's no more complex numbers in the answer. So you can use this as your fourth order polynomial with all real integers.